Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Trading Floor with your humble hosts, Angie Barbosa, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, Brad Reed, Chris Irwin, with a daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. Boys and girls, legends and legendettes, traders from around the world, how you guys doing? What an interesting day in the markets. As far as the Dow Jones ETF, the DIA is going, really not too much, actually, at the moment is happening. Today is Weeklies Wednesday, so I think we can go look for a few weekly spreads, and we'll see if we can get anything going on right now. And as far as I see it, I'd probably be more apt to doing a bull put spread after today's candle. Now I'm going to go look at the hourly to verify, but we do have a lot of resistance here. And I guess as I see it, we're making higher lows, we're making lower highs, we're in some type of consolidation phase. So yes, at some point on the markets, I do think that we'll break out bullish, which would be good, right? Thumbs up, it's a bullish trend. Why not? So let's go check out the hourly time frame, really kind of look this over and see what kind of spread we could get ourselves into. And if we did a spread, how about a 178, 177? Let's just go see what's in there for us, because that gives us a little bit of breathing room. The markets have been very, very gappy recently, and we'll create an exact plan for what we need to do if it does gap down. We'll go from there. We'll just see if there's any premium, and there's not. There is none. There is no money. You could sell for 8 cents and you could buy for maybe 4. So you're looking at the lowest spread that I'm willing to take, which is about that 4%. And on an index or on an ETF like DIA, I just won't do it. I mean, it's just not worth it. So just going to be patient, be calm, won't do anything on the DIA. So if that's the case, our swing trade perspective is still alive, right? We got the May week 1 bear call spread, which is there. And we're not going to necessarily worry about it unless, of course, we close above 181.90. Then we can worry about it. Exit it or unravel it. But I don't know if we're going to do that. We could just continue to pound out our resistance here. But very interesting consolidation phase, guys. Still not bearish. We got the long-term May bull put spread down here, which is actually at this point almost worthless as well, which is really, really interesting. And if we do drop down to here, I'm interested about going bullish. But really, I kind of expect more of a sideways battleground for the next 2 or 3 days on the market. SPY, though, really, really nice size white candle. Right? We don't have any bear call spreads or anything on the SPY. So let's say hypothetically, guys, we close above there tomorrow. Close above 211.39. I am bullish. I'll be bullish. And my stop or my trigger for the protective put will be 208.68. 208.68. And that's kind of my more directional entry on the SPY. So we got a black candle yesterday. We got a nice white candle, new white soldier with a little bit of a lower shadow. There's definitely some buying pressure, at least in my opinion, on SPY coming in today. Long-term moving averages look nice. Again, we got some higher lows, relative highs. Interested to see what it does, ladies and gentlemen. The Qs, nice candle on the Qs. Let's actually go see if we can get any spread premium on the Qs. We haven't done a spread on the Qs in a while. And again, the only place I could consider doing it is maybe, I don't think there's going to be anything in a 107. 108's a little bit too close. Maybe they have 107.50s. I really haven't done a spread on the Qs in a while, and there's no real reason specifically as to why. I just haven't. I usually just stick with IWM. And all right, so they do have the 50 cents. Okay, 107.50, 106.50. So we could sell for 15, and we could buy for 6. So that's a 9-cent spread. 107.50 is right here. Okay. I can dig that. Let's come up with a plan, what we need to do if we need to unravel or whatever. 107.50, 106.50, 9-cent limit. 9-cent limit, and for those of you of the trade, the YUM trade, I think it just got stopped out. So we'll talk about that in the last 15 minutes. 107.50, 106.50, 9-cent limit. If QQQ, let's go ahead and put in our plan to unravel. If QQQ gaps down and opens below really about 107.60. 107.60 on if it gaps down, right? That's the keyword. If it does gap down, looking to unravel on the same day if the gap is strong enough. If that does happen, sell the 106 put and create a bear put spread. I will only look at this spread if QQQ closes below 108. No, I can get a little closer than that. 108.26. 108.26 on the hourly. So that's the only time I'll look at it. I don't think that's a too ostentatious spread, truly. I mean, we're already in bullish, and, there you go. So analysis on 422.15. So we got a spread on the Qs. We'll see what that happens. That's a 9 center. On the daily, looks good. We got a nice little new white soldier. Got a decent gap today. It's below a wick. We're in a bullish trend. Let's go see what moving averages. That spread is actually right at the 10 exponential moving average on the daily. So that's a good location to have it. So 9 cents on the Qs. Looks pretty. And IWM, again, nice little lower shadow on the Qs and the IWM, really kind of the general market. So we're getting a little bit of buying pressure on the pullback. Thumbs up, which is good. I like it. Looks saucy. So I don't really have anything else to say, I guess, on the ETFs. So there we go. Give me 3 seconds. I want to pull up what I want to talk about today. I got to find it. Where is that little file? It always runs away from me right when I want to look at it. So here we go. All right, so we're going to go look at CMG, Tesla, LinkedIn, Netflix, FAS, eBay, CE, and we'll talk about the Morningstar reversal added support and as much as possible. CMG. Let's go check out Chipotle. So Chipotle, we're going to review this as well in the last 15 minutes. As far as my spread traders are concerned, this is the spread that we got into really at the open of the trading floor. This is the first thing we're looking at, really. The 665, 670 weekly bear call spread for 32 cents. Martin is in, Ron's in, and that's for this week. So that's right at about 5% return, which is, it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's in a great location. So here's the 665 is right about here. And Stan is in the 687, 690 bear call spread for May. So, he got in a little bit earlier. If you guys want to consider another bear call spread for May time frame, absolutely could consider something above this gap. So here's the gap on Chipotle. It definitely is a bearish gap. You're making lower highs and lower lows. If you get into a bear call spread, make sure it's above the 200 simple moving average. And that could be for a May week 1. I mean, we did... we did gap down nicely. We have had earnings. Volume really, really came in nicely today and yesterday. I still kind of am on board. This is looking a little bit more and more like an island reversal. Doesn't necessarily mean that Chipotle is going to go to 0, but a trade down to maybe 610 is plausible. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see. Our day trade for the day on Chipotle was the 15-minute rollover. Went in bearish back here. Stop right there. Target 1 is 639, and then target 2 is 635.31 on Chipotle. So we'll see. We'll kind of keep an eye on that and see what that does. So as far as a weekly spread, I don't know how much money is in there at the moment, at this exact moment in time. But given that there was some good this morning, if you want to look for any type of spreads, May week 1 might be plausible somewhere above that general range. Tesla. Let's go look at Tesla. Now on Tesla, we're trying to track down some money, and we can't necessarily find any. Most of us are already in a spread. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. So Ulette's in a June call. I'm just going to actually write that up in here. Okay, I'm going to come in here and write that. She's been that one. Ulette's in a June call. So she's much happier today on Tesla. Tesla moving well. She got in back on this candle, if I'm not mistaken, February 12th. So she's been in there for a little bit. Doing some debit spreads, bringing in some premium. Right now we talked about the 230 May week 1 debit spread. Some good volume in today. The bull put spread, we talked about the 197, 195 bull put spread expiring this week. I asked, and if any of my recording students are in this bear call spread still, please let me know. I mentioned yesterday when we looked at Tesla that if we unravel, I would unravel today just based purely on this candle. Because it really was a nice, decently sized bullish candle. We closed above the 100 simple moving average. We had a new white soldier. And on the hourly, it looked pretty crisp. So here's your hourly. Here's the 100 simple moving average on the hourly. Had a little bit of a double bottom pattern. We closed above the double bottom, and we kind of retest a little bit. So yesterday, towards the end of the day, I actually bought some May week 1 calls, really expecting to exit out this week, which is good. So that worked out. Exited today. Should be fine. So on Tesla, I don't really have any premium at the moment. The tightest that I would do is a 210, 207, and there's really only about 8-10 cents in there. So bottom line, if you're already in a spread on Tesla, thumbs up. If you're in the bull put spread, there's a lot of you guys. Troy's in there, Robert's in there, Larry's in there, I believe. Stan's in a longer term spread. So on Tesla, awesome. Beautiful job. Next target really is probably the 200 simple. So on Tesla, we might consider maybe another spread for May week 1, depending on what it does or how it plays out. But if we pull back just a little bit into about the 218 region and we begin to pop just a tad, that would be a nice little rotation. And then my next target would be the 200 simple moving average on Teslas. So for those of you guys in that trade, beautiful job. No premium spread, at least for this week. LinkedIn. Let's check out LinkedIn. LinkedIn appears to have earnings coming up. I wonder what kind of spread money is down into 250. Let's go find out. LinkedIn. Who here uses LinkedIn? Does anyone here use LinkedIn? I use it, but I'm really rarely on it. I'm not on it that often. Martin says very little.
Jeremy, earnings are the 30th after close. Okay.
250 is the tightest that I would go. 247.50, that's 25 cents. There's not going to be enough money for this, guys. We're looking at about 10 cents, maybe 15 best case scenario. So I really won't worry about LinkedIn. Steven says, don't use LinkedIn. I like Facebook. Same here, man. Same here. All right, so nothing on LinkedIn. Earnings next week. Thanks, Ange. And this is going to be a little bit of an interesting earnings play as well to see how and what it does. Panera trading sideways. Beautiful swing trade approaching. Let's just see what happens on earnings, which is about 2 or 3 days. We got a really nice pennant. I don't imagine that Panera would gap strongly on earnings since it already had a big gap there and a big gap there. Maybe I could be mistaken, though. Maybe it does gap largely. What would be phenomenal is if Panera gapped down a slight bit to 178. I think that would be a buying opportunity, in my opinion. So Panera, I like what's going on with it, but there's not really any money in any spreads. Earnings are on the 28th, which is next week. Well, we can go check for spreads. I say there's no money. I've been wrong before. Panera. Options. Oh, we don't have weeklies anyway. Okay, never mind. Moving on. What else do we have we're going to look at? So we got LinkedIn. Let's go check out Netflix. Let's see what kind of spreads we got on Netflix. Netflix, as you guys know, I'm bullish on Netflix. And I think playing a bearish trade on Netflix is just going to be really, I definitely would say a gamble. I don't know. It's just going to be a more risk averse. No, that's if you don't like risk. It's going to be a more risky trade. The edge on Netflix, in my personal opinion, really is quite bullish. We got ourselves a little bit of a Jerry Mungo wager going on on Netflix. So if you consider a 5-10 May week 2 put sale or dollar limit, I think that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. Here's the 15-minute chart on Netflix. We talked about that earlier today. Broke down a little bit. We're kind of retesting. I could see Netflix doing something like this. So if it is bearish, it's not going to be pretty. I wouldn't imagine. It's not going to be as beautiful as we like a trade to be. Here's the hourly on Netflix. And the hourly, right, we're kind of battling the 20. The 50 right now is at 535. I don't really have anything for a weekly spread. Let's see if there's any money in a 530. I would almost be willing to wear a funny looking hat today if that's really the case. 530. Nope, not gonna be any money in a 530. Everything else is just gonna be a smidge too close. I mean, even the 550 is gonna be a little close. Because I do imagine that Netflix could roll down just a little bit. 545, 542.50. We could get 40, let's just say 42 cents, and we could buy for 30. That's a 12 cents. It's a 5% return on a 545. Where is 545? 5% return for this week. What do you guys think about that? One of the biggest things that concerns me about that is there's no real moving average or anything down there to prop the trade up. We're really just basing it on numbers or another time frame. I mean, if we use the 2-hour chart, there's probably a moving average down there. Yeah, there's the 20 on the 2-hour. Not that that's a very commonly used time frame. It'll probably work. If you want to consider it, feel free to. I'm not the biggest fan of that particular spread myself. So I think I'm just going to chillax on Netflix for right now. If it was like 8-9% reward, I probably would take it. But it's not. So, FAS. We've looked at FAS earlier. We'll look at it again. FAS, unless something magical has changed, there's no real premium at the moment. I was looking to do a 120, 119, and I mean, truly, there's just no money for this week. You'd almost have to pay the market to do that trade. 121, 120 is probably just a few pennies too tight. And by a few pennies, I mean about 100 of them. It's about $1 too tight on FAS. I'm going to wait, kind of be patient on that trade, and see what it does. You know, as far as what else we could do, we could consider a longer term spread on FAS, right? We still got a pattern like this going. Something like that maybe. It's an ugly pattern. This is not pretty. Let's see what a 115, 114 can give us. FAS. Let's check it out. 115. Let's do an May week 2. 115, 114. A very interesting spread. Let me think about this one for a second. I mean, you could do, you know, if you have an 80 cents and you got filled at 70, it's a 10% return. That's best case scenario. Regular May expiration. Let's look at regular May. 115. Wow, regular May is much, much better. 115, 114 is massively better. You could probably sell for 136 minimum. And, well, I said massively better. You really could probably buy for 124. It's about a 12% return, 12 cents. 115, 114. Well, you know, we're not really below the 200 simple moving average. And I would like to be below that. The interesting fact, since we have these lower highs, if we were to gap or really trade lower than that, this pattern would break and we would trade down to here. I'd want some support. All right, I'm gonna leave FAS alone. We've done many trades on FAS, so we'll leave it alone for right now. eBay. So looking at eBay, what's the earnings deal with eBay? Is it? Oh, it's coming out after today, after close. Okay. Here's kind of my sentiment on eBay then. If eBay gaps down below 52.50 and more bearish, if it gaps up, I'm a little bit more bullish. Not massively. The unfortunate news with eBay is we don't really have any solid premium for put sales, for bull put spreads after earnings. And I don't want to do them over earnings because eBay is kind of volatile over earnings. So I'm going to wait on eBay. But this is for my swing traders and my day traders. eBay could be fun tomorrow. This is my my trading plan for eBay for tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. CE. What is CE? So CE's already had earnings. Really good volume, decent candle. And we close above this high. All right, here's this resistance at about 66 and some change. We close above there. Let's see what we got. Huh? Let's see what we got. Anybody? No? Let's go check it out. See if there's anything on a weekly. Oh, we only got May. Snapdragons. Okay, maybe a 62.50 then. If there's any premium in there. And there's not. There's not much. No. So you could do 40 cents, and then this spread down here, you could probably get 20. So you're looking at less than a 10% ROI for a not aggressive spread, but I will say this. We could keep CE on your radar. Could keep this on your radar for a bull put spread bounce. So for example, if this stock did come down to 64 or something, you got like a nice size white candle in the hourly and you want to get in, you could get 10% or something for that spread, I can dig that. I like that opportunity, but everything else I'm just kind of like meh. I'm a little bit meh on it. So that is CE. I don't see much going on CE. Let's check out ADXS. ADXS. What is this guy? This looks like it's not some type of target. Almost looks like a 1, 2, 3 of some kind. I don't really know if this is big enough for a 4. Yeah, ADXS. I'm not exactly sure what this thing does. It was a very, very cheap stock not too long ago. Exponential moving averages on ADXS. We're really just very nicely. Buy the bounce. Buy low, sell high. Look for a pull back to around $16.12. Analysis on 4/22/15. It's very similar to the one we're looking at the other day, which I'll pull up in just a moment. In my personal opinion, it's just it's trendy, right? It looks nice. But based on today's candle and the moving averages, it looks like some people probably going to get trapped that took a break above the high. So some people probably went in bullish right there. Looks like they might get trapped a little bit, come down to here, and then maybe we buy again. So I would wait. I would wait if we're looking at a bullish entry on ADXS. It's really just not the buy low, sell high type of time frame at the moment. Another one that we looked at yesterday was VLTC. Do you guys remember this thing? So VLTC was annoying today. Very annoying. Did anyone try to short VLTC? VLTC. I tried to short VLTC right here by right there. It was going to be a very, very good trade. But apparently it was not shortable. Which I've said very, very rarely through my proprietary trading platform. I was like, man, I want to short that thing. And I couldn't. I was like, why? I don't know. That was kind of odd. So I guess what to do with it right now? Not much. We can, if we're trying to trade this bubble, we can buy the bounce somewhere over here. Buy the bounce, maybe the $11 range, but we'll kind of come back and watch this and see if this is going to be a bubble or what it's going to do. But it's going to be a very speculative trade, and I think we should absolutely keep an eye on it and kind of come back to that every now and then. We looked at First Solar for a bull put spread or a put sale or something for this week, but nope, nada, zip, zilch, zero, finito, nito, nien, nothing. So at the moment, I'm more or less hoping First Solar goes up a little bit and just does its best to stay below 66 before May week 1. And then depending on where First Solar is from there, I'll let that premium expire worthless. If it does go up to 66, again, earnings is right around the corner. If we're above 66 at expiration, I'll just close both my... I actually don't know what put I have. I could probably check. I think it's 62.50, 63. Anyway, I'll just close that put, close them both together, and realize a little bit of a profit. So as of right now, finally, First Solar did make a higher high and a higher low. The hourly looks decent. Getting a little bit of selling pressure. We did make a higher high, right? We broke through. So probably tomorrow we'll do something like this, and then we only got 1 week left for the 66 calls to expire. I'm in a debit spread, and I guess, just wait until earnings and see what it does. I'm just hoping it goes higher. I'll probably take this trigger for the protective put, move it up a little bit, maybe tomorrow or something, because, why not? Here we go. We'll see what it does. Really ugly trade. I mean, it did not do nearly what I wanted it to. But I do like the expanding Bollinger Bands, right? Some volatility coming in. So there's First Solar. I'm also in Bed Bath & Beyond. So Bed Bath & Beyond, I would really like it just to go to 70 already. The 10 exponential moving average on the daily chart is what I'm hoping will kind of push it down a little bit. This is kind of a bearish retest gap. We are retesting. We kind of had like this evening star feel type of thing going on. So if we move a little bit lower down, this is kind of my ultimate target down here. And I got May expiration, so I got time on it. I got in on, we've got on the 14th of April. So right now I'm right at break even, which is weird because that's just how options work, which I love and hate options. I do. Because I got in here, bearish. We're now here, and I'm at a break even. And I bought a 75 put. I mean, it has open interest, it has volume, it has a delta. I'm still losing a little bit of money. or I'm not making. I'm break even. So that's kind of the funny thing. That's how options work sometimes. You know, it's just that going in, I guess. So there you go. All right. Bed Bath & Beyond. Other swing trades I'm trying to think of. Let's go look at Yum. And Yum took an R from, well, not fully an R, but half of an R from some of us. Steven Steckler, Steven Jackson, Arthur, a few of us getting in bullish right here. But this is why you stops, guys, because if you didn't and you're just holding and holding and hoping, praying and praying and praying, it just kept going lower and lower and lower. So you got to mitigate your risk. You got to get stopped out, and you got to get stopped out. So it did trade a little bit lower. And at the moment on Yum, as far as the swing trade's concerned, I actually don't know if we're going to close above that trigger. And based on that candle, I really don't want us to. So here's what I'm thinking on Yum. I do love today's gap. I love today's gap and volume. It appears Yum will trade sideways some.
Anybody else lose audio, or is it just me?
Angie, everyone can hear you fine. Apparently everyone can hear you fine. I can hear you fine, you just can't hear me. That's kind of strange. So Yum Brands. I love today's gap in volume. It appears Yum will trade sideways some more. Yum will trade sideways some more. Maybe an inside day candle. Let's wait for a good bounce on the hourly. Could take 3 to 4 days. And one could consider a long position or some put sales or bull put spread. And based on today's candle, we really just have a high wave candle. We probably will trade sideways 3 based on very, very big doji, at least at the moment. And we'll give it its due thought process once that starts giving us something a little bit more to go on. So that's our trading plan on Yum, boys and girls, for a swing trade. Good gap, good volume, all looks pretty. Hopping over to GE again for a potential swing trade. Now GE, this is one, so you guys will know, I won't do personally. I'm not a big fan, and I don't know why. I'm just not a huge fan of solid blue chips. Maybe because I'm just not in the whole. I really don't do the buy and hold mentality for dividends yet. That's just not my style. So like the Procter & Gamble's, the Johnson & Johnson's, the GE's, you know, I don't really do much with those at all. The Cokes. I have a little bit more volatility. But, so I'm not going to do this trade personally. But regardless, 2708 will be, I want the stop and or the protective put somewhere in that gap. So really, let's just risk $1, 2608. This is a longer term bullish entry. As in, longer term bullish entry likely will be boring. This is for my buy and holders who wish to either add to their position or sell a covered call somewhere. That's really my plan. That's it on GE. I don't know what it'll do, but it doesn't look that great. And by that great, I just mean it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look that great. It looks just kind of boring. I like the candle and I like the volume. I definitely think this is a breakout, but if anything, it'll probably just do this, you know, for a while. So we shall see what goes on with General Electric. Let's go look at American Airlines. American Airlines. And on American Airlines, we got ourselves, if you got into shares, into a collar. We are pausing right where we said we would pause the other day, right at that gap. Earnings is coming up right around the corner. So if you got yourself a protective put, if you got yourself a covered call, I think having a collar over earnings on American Airlines is a good thing because it could gap big in either direction. I don't necessarily think it will. It's the 52.50 covered call for May, which I truly think it'll probably trade up to here and then trade down. I'm pretty sure that this one will expire worthless. But if we do get up here to this resistance, that's going to be a great place to buy some puts, right? Just in case it does roll over and protect your equity. Because I know a few of you guys are in shares on this, including Ford and I think a few others. So we're going to look at transports much more tomorrow, but there's just kind of like a little bit of an insight onto that one. Priceline, looking at Priceline for another potential weekly spread. Martin, did you get a chance to go? Yes or no? I think you're the only one that looked at it. The 15-minute really never paused at all. It just kept going. Kept going. Yeah, it kind of ran away from me too. So on Priceline, granted though, end of day, it appears that we're closing above some interesting patterns, and this was a retest gap after all. Right? Gapped up, retested, getting some accumulation, we're bouncing. I'm semi-bullish on Priceline. Let's go see if we can find any kind of cool May week 1 action. Because it's up 2% today, which is a pretty good move. We'll pull back a little bit tomorrow, so we could probably do a limit order. Me and Martin and a few others were looking at the 1180, 1175 expiring this Friday, which was right here. And that's for about 5% return. And it looked good, but I really just wanted the 15-minute chart to rest a little bit more, but apparently it didn't want to rest. So let's go see if we can get like an 1170 for next week. 1170 is $2. 1165 is $2. So we could probably sell for $275. And we could probably buy for $265. A 10%. I would like it if it was 10%, but since it's not, and 1170 is slightly on the tight side. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. If it was just a little bit better, I think I'd pull the trigger. Like if it a little bit more premium. The 10 exponential moving average on the weekly chart's 1172. So that's one bonus. If Priceline closes above 1274, I'm sorry, 1214.79, which looks like it will today. As a swing trade, I will be a little bit more bullish than bearish, and as well as a swing trade, maybe a day trade in the future or another. So we could put Priceline on our docket as just simply being a little bit more bullish than bearish, I guess is what I'm going for. So didn't get a chance to pull the trigger on that, so we'll just wait and we'll see what works out. We'll see what happens on earnings. I can't believe earnings is already around again. Feels like we just had earnings. Time flies when you're having fun. And we are having fun. Okay. Yahoo. Looking at Yahoo, just as an update for my swing traders, we got into another iron condor. Stan, did you buy to close your May covered call, or are you just going to hold on to it, let it expire, and then do another one? Let me see if Stan is here. He is. So this is the 48, 49, 41, 4110, 4140 iron condor. There we go. Stan says let it run. All right, I can get behind that. So Stan's gonna keep his May covered call, let it do its thing, and then we'll go on from there. See what happens. At the moment, though, I'm just very neutral on Yahoo. So that's more of a swing trade. Let it relax. Alibaba, not doing much at all. Hanging down, chilling. We'll see what it does on earnings. We're in an accumulation phase, and we'll just sit back, relax, and go from there. GoPro, decent little candle today coming to earnings. We'll see. We'll see what it does. El Pollo Loco. Coming into earnings, still chilling, not doing much. Nothing really crazy to look at. FEYE. A little bit of an interesting candle today. Here's the hourly. So I do personally think this is a pretty bullish gap. Like I mentioned to you guys yesterday, Daniel, one of my friends, is pretty bearish on it. Based on something, some bullish gap. So I guess we'll kind of see how and what it does exactly. But overall, based on FireEye, again, earnings are coming up around the corner. If you got a chance to do any put sales or bought shares back in there, then you're doing pretty good. So should be fine. Yep. Daniel Zenos. So there's FireEye. I think that's about it. I think that's about it for Weeklies Wednesday. Do you guys have any additional questions? Anything you want to look at? Again, Amazon is earnings right around the corner, so let's just go. Facebook has earnings, and I think you guys are fully aware of what I want to do on Facebook. Let me go see if I can find this chart. Or find my little... Here it goes. Apparently we have two of them. I don't know why I can't see this on the daily chart. I'm still not sure. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm going to make a new one on the daily chart, see if it stays there. How about that? So I got a buddy of mine, Johnny Howlett. He's in shares. He has an 86 covered call over earnings. This is what I'm thinking, guys. If Facebook opens above 86 tomorrow, gonzo. Gone with the wind. If it gaps down but opens above 80, I'll probably consider buying it again. And if it gaps down below 76, 86, bearish, and until the channel support line of 73. I guess is what I'm looking for. So it'll be interesting to see what it does. Earnings is around the corner. Now, today is a little bit of a white candle. So when I say gonzo, depending on how this candle closes, if we get a black candle in the hourly, which it looks like we might, I can dig that. That looks pretty decent. But overall, I think it'd be semi-bearish if we gapped above 86. Really interested to see what it does. What do you guys think it's going to do? Gap up or gap down? Or do you just not care? I think it's going to gap up. Martin says, as a swing trade, would your entry be based on the type of what gap it is? Yes. Absolutely. And this is my swing trade analysis right there. That's kind of my swing trade analysis as well as day trade analysis. Martin thinks it's going to gap up. I do too. I mean, again, I don't know if it will, but I think it will. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Stan says, do we have a plan for Google for earnings? We do. So I think Google earnings are tomorrow after close, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of them. This is earnings season, boys and girls. This morning is going to be another fun-filled morning. So on earnings for Google, if Google gaps down below 528, I'm very bearish. If Google gaps above 563.77, I am slightly bullish. That's really about it. If Google opens above 585, I'll go ahead and put that in. If Google opens above 585, I'm very bullish. I'm very bearish. There we are. Let me put above. If Google opens above 585, I'm very bullish. There we are. That's really what I got. All right, so let's go look for other earnings, shall we? So Pat has posted a few of them. There's too many to choose from. So I looked at Facebook. I looked at eBay. Let's go look at Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments. So this one's still just kind of chilling a little bit. Had this really interesting Morningstar reversal off of support. So Morningstar reversal, since they want me to talk a little bit about them, I do like Morningstar reversals. They are kind of my second or third most favorite candlestick reversal pattern, morning and evening star reversals. The harsh things to deal with about them, though, is that you have to wait for that third candle. And it simply gives you that perspective of, how bullish or how bearish are you. And if the candles are really, really large and white like this on Texas Instruments, then you're more than likely saying, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of white candles on the hourly. So I'm going to wait for a little bit of a pullback before getting in. So if you're looking at a Morningstar reversal as depending on the time frame, of course, look at how the size of the candles, and the bigger the candles, the more you want to wait for a little bit of a pullback before getting in on the Morningstar reversal. Same thing goes with, if it gaps up, right? If it's a Morningstar reversal and you have a white candle and it gaps up, you're bullish, but it's a retest gap. So wait for the retest and then buy the bounce. So on Texas Instruments, this is one that Martin was in a little bit, for a while, a little bit more bullish than bearish. And he exited. Texas Instruments got a little bit of a pattern like this. And got a little bit of a pattern like this. So if Texas Instruments gaps nicely, this thing could really move. Here's what I've got. I would want to clear 60. If TXN opens above 60, pretty bullish gap. If TXN opens below 54.50, bearish gap. Anything else will likely be Yawnville. Welcome to Yawnville, sir. How many bags are you carrying? Just one. Ooh, FFIV. That's always a fun one with earnings. FFIV coming into a nice little pivot area, folks. So a little bit of a resistance like this. There we are. Really, any small gap up would be a nice bullish retest gap. So I want a small gap below 124 and above 122, I guess is what I'm going with. A gap down would have to be below 107 to get me excited. I just noticed, and this is going to be a very dorky statement, but I just noticed you can spell elbow out of the word below. That was my dyslexia kicking in. I was writing below, but I saw elbow. Working hard for my money. Working hard for my money. Zane says, Google earnings day trading on a Friday, you say? Oh boy, I know. Pat says, I scanned over 250 that are reporting before tomorrow. Holy smokes. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Wow. I appreciate you writing all these down, or at least the ones you did write down, Pat. Thank you. So I'm going to go through as many as we can. We got 10 minutes left. First, Pat says, first installment before the bell. How about we go look at Southwest, too? Southwest can be interesting. Southwest. Southwest Airlines, we'd love to have you. Long-term moving averages, we are slightly below. Now, Southwest could be a fun gap if we gap just right. If we open below 40.93 and above 39, nice bearish retest gap. What's up, Kim Botnet Jr.? How you doing, brother? We're visited by greatness, ladies and gentlemen. If LUV opens too low, aka on the 200 SMA, look to buy. If it rolls over below the 200 SMA, bearish trade. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't really write anything for a gap up. It would be interesting if LUV gapped above, I don't know, what price is that? 47.30? I don't really know what I would do at that point. I'd probably play it a little bit bullish. I mean, I'd be looking to play it bullish, but I don't think it gaps up that far because Southwest is so extended on so many time frames. Just the big time frames. Ken said, what would be considered a triple top? Would that be considered a triple top? That's a good question, Ken. Kind of exactly what I'm getting at, because really, this is a very, very interesting pattern. And this little guy, I don't know if I would call it a triple top. It's definitely a weird pattern. I would call it a triple top before I called it anything else. And we're retesting the neckline. So if it does gap down, I imagine that bearish move could be pretty bullish. If it does gap up, and let's just say above 44, it could be bullish because so many people are trying to short it as a triple top. So there's probably going to be a lot of people not knowing its earnings getting in now, expecting the rollover like this. But if it does just gap up right above and clear that resistance, there could be a lot of people trapped, and it could be a nice little bullish trade. But yeah, it's kind of like a decapitated Head and Shoulders. Yeah, that's the Head and Shoulders that visited the guillotine a time or two. But yeah, gonna be an interesting pattern. It's really the only thing that concerns me is this on a monthly chart. It's just not natural. So if anything, it's got to trade sideways at least a little bit longer. But man, I mean, this is absolutely a wave 3 on a monthly. So we're in a wave 4 right now. How long is a wave 4 on a monthly? Probably a little bit longer than it's lasting. That's why I'm kind of thinking on some airlines I'm bullish, but I'm just neutrally bullish, I guess, if that's a word. Neutrally bullish. Man, you're right, Pat. There is a lot of earnings out there. So my day traders, we've been having fun in the mornings. The mornings have been doing good. Eli Lilly. So we had a good bullish breakout right here. We did pull back. We didn't really bounce off the 10, but we did bounce off the 100. I would probably say that again. This is actually a good trade setup. If LLY gaps down but opens above 68.60, could consider buying. If LLY gaps down and opens below the 200 SMA, very nice bearish gap. If LLY opens above, I really want above this wick, 75.10, pretty bullish gap. There we go, swing traders and day traders. So again, right, Same thing. If Eli Lilly gaps down to here, we start bouncing. I mean, swing traders, bull put spreads, put sales, calls, shares, things, other things, items. There's things you could do. Yeah, exactly. Let's go look at 3M. 3M, so this is what we talked about on the last earnings. Whenever that was. Way back here. Pretty much nothing has happened since then. So 3M on a weekly chart, definitely in a distribution phase. For sure. Man, we trading sideways, real talk. 170, good resistance. 160, pretty decent support. So we're in kind of like a little channel looking thing. Something like this. What do you got, Lita? Do you got any spreads or anything on 3M? 3M's kind of that good blue chip thing that you like. Those similar. Should know. Did you publish eBay trade? I don't have an eBay trade, Lita, so I did not publish it. I'll be happy to go back over to it and just copy and paste what I said for the gap. But this is all I have. Here you go, dear. That's it for me. I don't have any specific trade at all on eBay. Nothing specifically. So it is in your little chat pane if you got it. Let me know if you need anything else. Man, I don't know what 3M will do, guys. If it gaps below the 200, it's gone. If 3M opens below the 200 SMA, it's gone. If it gaps up above 171, it's gone. Everything else, Yawnville. There we go. Let me hop over here to Chipotle. So we got 2 minutes left in the market. Depending on how you set your limit orders and things of that nature, you might. I mean, the low of this candle was 639.33. So it did hit this by 5 cents. So, again, depending on how you triggered in, you might have sold something. That is a 1-to-2 risk-reward ratio. If you want to exit the rest of your position for your day trade, for those of you who got, Lewis, and for those of you guys did get a chance to day trade that, you're exiting at about 641.92. So, making some R and some change on Chipotle. It's definitely an option type of trade, and you made a little bit of money. Hey, good. And it's an expensive stock. Definitely one of the options that you would have traded, but that was hey, there you go. Good move. If you got a chance. Last few seconds of the day, let's talk about what we're going to look at tomorrow and see what else you guys want to chat about. So tomorrow is Transportation Thursday. So there's going to be a lot of things to look at. We have Southwest Airlines. We have American Airlines, Delta Airlines. Anything else? Tesla. Yeah, how about we put Tesla on the board? It's always on there on Thursday. Boeing. Since Pat was talking about Boeing today. Lockheed Martin. Anything else? Alaska Airlines. Yes, too. So that'll be a good one to look. Choo-choo trains. All right. CSX. What is KSU a choo-choo train? UNP, I think, is another one. Union Pacific. Choo-choo. Market closed. Very cool. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world you guys want to look at? NSC, Norfolk Southern. Yep, let's check that out for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another good day in Weekly's Wednesday land. Got a few spreads placed. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on them. Really, Chipotle is one of our main spreads expiring this week. And that we got into that at the very, very beginning of the day. It was just really perfect timing. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it. We'll see what it does. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. You rock. I'll see you later. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. See you.